Hello! Today we will be making real-life butter cake. The recipe calls for cranberries, but I think Lego is mistaken because cranberries cannot be eaten since they're poisonous. Instead, we'll be using chillberries. For this recipe, you will need 1 cup of unsalted butter, softened, 1.5 cups of castor sugar, 4 large eggs at room temperature, 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of whole milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. For the berry buttercream frosting, 1 cup of unsalted butter, softened, 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1/4 cup of blueberry puree. Okay, for the berry puree, it says here to blend fresh or frozen blueberries and blackberries. I would recommend to use only blueberries. I think it's using blackberries for the color. And you can actually just use a pestle and mortar to grind the berries, and then you can use a strainer to remove the seeds and all of the skin, which I do recommend because that way you'll get like a very nice smooth puree. 1 to 2 tablespoons milk or cream, blue and purple food coloring. For decoration, fresh chillberries. You also need a circular 9-inch cake pan. It is better to use an electric mixer, but you can also use an electric hand mixer or do it by hand. Of course, if you do it by hand, it'll be a little bit much harder. Okay, let's bake a cake. Let's go! Alright, so for this recipe, we will start by adding the cream and sugar into our mixer so that we can, it's not a cream, it's the butter, so we can add the butter in here, and we're gonna mix it together until it's creamed. So I'm gonna go at a slow speed first. So the mixture needs to be light and fluffy. So if you see that the butter is getting stuck on your mixture, you need to stop, push it down, and keep stirring until it gets creamy. So while that is doing the creamy mixture, you're gonna grab your eggs and you're gonna be adding them one at a time. So I recommend to always break your egg in a separate bowl and then add it in there, because if you get some eggshells in there, it's not gonna be good. So I'm gonna add my first egg, adding my second egg, gonna add my third egg, and this will be my fourth egg. So while that is going on, I'm gonna be whisking together flour, my baking powder, my salt, I'm just gonna be whisking it like this. And we will be adding our mixture of flour into the mixer. And while we're doing that, we're going to be adding our vanilla extract, and we're going to be alternating with the milk. Adding the vanilla extract, I spilled a little milk. It's fine to make a mess in the kitchen. So while that's doing, you can clean up your mess. If you did a mess. So I believe our mixture is done. So your mixture should look something like this. Now we're gonna grab our mixture and we're gonna add it to our pan. So here's our pan. I already greased the pan with some butter. You can use spray butter or you can just grab a stick of butter and just kind of like spread it around. So just kind of mix it in there. If there's a little bit of flour still in there, just sort of mix it in there, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And we will start pouring it in here. So I'm trying to like get most of the mixture in there. So if you have a little bit of residue in there, it's fine. Just try to get most of it in there. So I preheated my oven to 350 Fahrenheit. That's 180 centigrades. Sorry about that. And we will put this in there for 30 to 35 minutes or until you push it with a little toothpick, and if the toothpick comes out clean, then your cake is ready. For the berry puree, I already did it beforehand because it's a hassle to do this. So you can do this by hand or in a little mixer. If you have a little small little NutriBullet mixer, you can do it there. But I recommend just doing it by hand since it's only using such a small amount of berries. Then you need to strain it. It says, the recipe says that it's optional for you to strain it, but it is much nicer for you to strain it. So once you strain it, you get something like this. Okay, for the frosting, we will add our butter. So we will stir in the butter until the butter is creamy. And once the butter is creamy, we will start adding our sugar. And then we'll alternate our sugar with the blueberry puree that we made, our milk, and if we want to add a little bit of color, we will add a little bit of blue. And I'll try making red. So you might have to turn the machine off so you can like push the butter down, I guess. So once your butter is creamy, you can start adding your sugar. So I'm just gonna use 1 drop of blue. I'm gonna add 1 drop of red. And I'm gonna keep stirring in. My sugar. And I'm gonna add my milk to push down all of the sugar and the butter. I'm gonna add more blue. So for the coloring, it will be as much as you desire. So try to find the color that you like. So I will push my icing, my frosting, all the way down so I can finish mixing it in, all of it. And you can tell maybe the camera is not making it justice, but the color is already pink, like almost like purplish. It's very Colombo-like actually, so I'm actually happy with the color. Now I really need to get this all the way in there so that it finishes doing the mixing and we can get the color just exactly right. So I think I have my icing how I like it. It's a nice little light purple, just like the Colombo cakes. So now that we have our frosting done, I will take it out of the mixer and I will wait for our cake to be done, and I will show you how I pull it out of the oven. And when you do the frosting, you need the cake to be fully cold. So you need to wait for it to be completely cold before you do the frosting. Otherwise, you will have a lot of trouble doing the frosting, and the frosting will melt and then you'll have a mess, and you don't want any of that. So we're gonna check on our cake as soon as our timer lets us know that it's ready. Okay, so while you're waiting for the cake to be done, and while the cake is being cold, you can actually use that time to clean up the kitchen. Okay, so if your toothpick looks like this, that means that the cake is not ready. So I will wait a little bit more for the cake to be ready. So our cake is done. I had already tested it before with my toothpick. So your toothpick should come out clean. So now I will put the cake on top of a grate so that you can let it cool. Once it's completely cool, you can take it out of the mold and then you can do the icing. So we'll do the icing in a little bit. Now it's time to do the icing. You will grab your spatula and we will just start putting the icing over it. You can actually make these as muffins. So you can actually put the batter on a muffin pan and make small muffins using the same recipe. And that way you can make them for your friends and your family. So I think we're good. We're gonna set aside the rest of the icing. So if you make more, you can store this icing for something else, like cookies, or maybe something like more cake, or maybe some muffin ideas, like I said. And that way you don't let go to waste all of this icing that you made. So I'm gonna grab my chillberries. I'm just gonna add a few in there on top, just to simulate the chillberry on top of the one from the game. So I hope you enjoyed baking this butter cake for Colombo, and I hope you enjoy it with your friends and family. I hope you enjoyed baking it as much as I did, because it's delicious. Thank you for watching.